because you seem happy out there in Ecuador.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got no stress.
And life
Se
is
me
cheaper
pasó
over there too.
se me quitó todas las enfermedades. Tú sabes que allí en New Jersey yo tenía que comprarme un spray todas las noches para ponerme porque no podía respirar.
Ajá.
Aquí ya se me acabó el spray, se me acabó las pastillas, but I feel good. I mean, es increíble, tú sales afuera, el aire, caminas. No sé si tú has venido por esta área. This is the best area en Ecuador.
¿Qué harías?
En la Carolina, por el frente del Parque de la Carolina.
Of course.
Sale el X-Centro, todo eso. Están los malls. Yo vivo en el medio de todos los, the best. El edificio que están haciendo al frente, mira, este apartamento es grande, tiene 86 metros cuadrados, ¿no? El del frente tiene 91. Estamos hablando de 5 metros más. Pero ese apartamento están pidiendo ahora $220,000. Yo no compraría eso por los cuartos, son chiquitos los dormitorios. But because they have a pool, they want 200. That's crazy, they're fucking crazy. But people like them, Unbelievable. The people who la compran. 200. Aquí La Plata, 100,000 o 200,000 is like chicken shit.
If only I had $100,000.
What?
If only I had $100,000.
There ain't no money here, man. Con eso te vas al carro.
No, it's dental floss.
Dental floss. Muy grueso.
No.
That's too thick.
So why did your mujer come here to New Jersey for 10 days?
No. She's been there for 10 days.
Why? Si tú estás ahí.
Sí, porque tenía que, make some payments, take care of the bills, Y está trabajando también.
How's your relationship?
My what?
How's your relationship with her?
Good. Except that it's no good, she's there, I'm over here, But either she comes quicker or I go there, but I just don't want to go. As long as I can stay here, I don't want to go there. But I told him, we were talking today. And I said, you and I we're business people, right? And I figured out if I keep that apartment up there, I'm spending something like $800 for nothing.
Right, yeah, that's...
But if I rent it, those $800 come back to me. Because, I can rent it for $1,200. So instead of me spending $800, I will have $400 in my favor, right? Right or wrong?
Right. Plus the electricity,
No, I don't have to pay nothing. No electricity, no cable, no maintenance, no nothing.
Por eso.
No parking.
Por eso, you'll save all that money.
And if I want to have a place to stay, where my office is, right? You puedo hacer un little studio for me.
Right.
So every time we go back there, I just have a place to stay,
Exactly.
You understand? So
yeah, I think you should sell it. I think you should rent it. ¿Ya te resolviste el problema ese de que no había papeles comprobando que es tuyo?
Bueno, lo que pasa es que recibí una carta de Wells Fargo, right? Claiming that I have not paid any. No, dicen que no he pagado. Dicen que estoy al día until June. I don't know how it works. But I've been up to date till June. Pero ese papel, ese papel me llegó en July, Para de las cuentas de ellos yo estoy al día hasta junio. Pero ¿qué es lo que pasa? Que ellos dicen que yo le debo $115,000 del apartamento. Maybe it's true, I don't know. Pero como yo vendí de Fórmula 1, En 2000, en el 2000, ¿qué era? 2011 creo, ¿verdad? En 2011. Desde ahí no pagué más, pero ya estamos en 2017. Han pasado casi 7 años que yo no pagué más. Pero tampoco me han escrito que debo. No
¿Qué es
debo.
lo que respiraba, what?
Marcha.
What does that mean?
You fuck everything that breathes.
When you were 41?
When I was 41, it was a beautiful year. Estás filmando, I see your camera.
It's for my memories.
Your memories, I know that.
So tell me about how you came to the United States. Tell me that story so that way your grandkids can hear it someday in the future. Tell me your story, but don't make it too long because I don't have a lot of battery power.
Well, what do you mean?
How old were you? Why did you come to the United States?
Why? Because
Yeah.
I was invited by the president. Roosevelt.
Right. No, seriously, why did you come to the United States?
No, I thought the United States was, beautiful. Like when you used to see in the movies. In the movies, you used to see that you live in a nice neighborhood, nice houses. And, Elvis Presley, rock and roll. And I say, oh man, I'm going to live there. Shit. Cuando llegué, man, I went to a Kennedy airport. I see a lot of black people, man. So what the hell? Maybe I'm in Africa or something. Yeah. Because we never knew as Negroes. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not discriminating anybody.
So whatever.
But we didn't know that as Negroes in the United States. Anyway, and I thought I was going to come to a nice neighborhood or something. And when we ended up in the Bronx, man, more Negroes, oh man, Negroes were in place. I said, what the hell is this? Am I in Africa or something? What?
When you say we, who's we? Who did you come with?
My sister Fabiola.
How old were you when you came to?
17.
17?
Yes, man.
You came to this country when you were 17 years old,
Yes, sir.
and you met my mother on the airplane. So you met her when you were 17?
No. That was later around that I met you. That was after I came and I came back to Ecuador. Then I returned.
Oh, okay.
That was like 5, 7 years later that I was doing that. But everything went fine. I must say, the things at the beginning was not easy, but I never complained. I was lucky since the beginning. I mean, I cannot complain. When I was 23 years old, I used to own a house already. See?
Right.
My own house in New York. When I used to pay the mortgage in the bank, they say, hey, why don't you, one day your father comes? I said, my father, he is in Ecuador. He says, my house. It's like, my house. I said, what? You're a young guy. Yeah, so what? I own a house, man.
Hold on, don't go nowhere. Hold that thought. Ouch. Don't go nowhere. Okay.
What?
I had to get a new battery. All right, so you came here when you were 17 years old for the first time, and then you went back, and then you came back when you were 25 years old, or something like that, right?
What are you?
Or 22.
What are you, brainstorming me or something?
No, I mean, I'm recording because yo quiero que mis hijos y mis bisnietos entiendan cómo llegamos a este país, you know, because you're the first generation. You know what I'm saying?
I came in a banana boat.
You came in a banana boat. So tell me your story, man. Tell me.
I don't feel like telling you right now. Not now. Leave it for another day.
How did you meet my mother? Tell me that story.
As a movie, it says How Did I Met Your Mother.
That's a show.
It's a show, I know.
Yeah.
Cost you money, man. No, what do you mean? Anyway,
You met her on
In
an
a
airplane, right? Yeah. Huh?
Uh-huh. So we went out on a date. We fall in love, and that's it. You were born. That's it. What else we want me to say?
I don't know. Tell me your version of the story.
No, it's no story. That's it. I'm telling you.
How long were you guys married for?
I don't even remember. I lost my. I don't remember last month. How can I remember so far back?
I thought you were gonna say you lost your virginity to her.
Oh yeah. I was a virgin. Era coco.
Por eso te pones la cobija encima de la cabeza, por lo que eres santo. So what was your first job when you came here to this country?
You see, that's what it is. I mean, I used to, I ended up, I mean, this is funny, you know. I asked my brother, look, you want me to take clothes to New York? He said, no, don't bring anything. Everything is here. So I gave all my clothes to my friends, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And all I have is what I was wearing, you know, a suit, an underwear, and that's it, and a pair of socks. And next day I say, hey, where's all the clothes that you promised me? He says, hey, man, you gotta go work Monday. Then, you know. He only bought me in a calzoncillo and a camiseta, man. That's it. He says, you take it from here, man. Oh, shit. I didn't know I was going to work, you know. But anyway, I used to be one of the best mechanics. Not the best mechanics. I used to be a mechanic here in Ecuador. I used to know how to fix the engines, you know, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a job like that. When everybody was making like $50 a week, I was making 120.
Mm-hmm.
Then after 6 months, I started making 180.
Mm-hmm.
So people, you know, make like $50 a week. So I was always ahead of the game. So you know, I learned the language, and I started going to school to learn like automatic transmissions. You know, it's not that difficult. Then I used to work in the Oldsmobile.
In the what?
They used to pay me Oldsmobile.
Oh.
Oldsmobile dealership.
Uh-huh.
Then they used to pay me $350 a week. Everybody used to make $80 a week. Then I went to General Motors. I used to make like $450 a week. People still making $100 a week. You know, so I was lucky, man. So that helps me to grow. Then I decided to work by myself, you know, selling cars. So since 1973, I never worked for nobody else. I only worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I did okay. It was a long story, you know, it was not that easy. Then I went to college 4 years. I went 5 years to college. I graduated in business administration with for accounting and finance. But I never liked accounting. You know, when you like something, I love cars all the time. And I was making good money. So when I went to work as an accountant, they want to pay me $8 an hour, like $320 a week. They was making like $100,000 in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to work. So that's it, man. I make my own business, and that's it. After 30 years, I retired. I'm a happy man.
Mm-hmm. So you opened Vista Auto Sales 30 years ago.
32 years.
32 years. Uh-huh. And I remember it became Formula One Auto Sales.
No, different names. I used to be. The first name of my dealership was ¿cómo se llama? Amway Auto Sales. Then Aqua, then Vista, then Formula, like 4 different names. Why do I change names? Because the accountant told me, you know, if you change names like every 5 years, you know, yeah, you're a new company, the IRS will never be able to behind your ass. And it was good, you know. In 1980 was my best time. 1980 to the 90s was the best years of my life. I made money like crazy. I got money coming out of my ears. But, no lo aproveché mucho, You young,
Right.
Pero lo comido y lo bailado nadie te lo quita, papá.
¿El qué? Oh, el comido y el ganado.
No, lo bailado.
Oh, lo comido y lo bailado no te quita nadie.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Experience.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's been a good life. Very good life. I always enjoy my life. Have a nice woman, a nice life. Eat good, sleep good, live good. I mean, one thing that you have to remember in your life, I know I don't have to tell you, is that I always try to have a place to live, no matter what happens in your life. You have to have a place that you can own by yourself. You don't have to make a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Like this apartment. If the United States can blow up in pieces, I have my apartment here, so I don't have to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Do it, maybe I can eat bananas with rice.
Mm-hmm.
So as you grow, just make sure you have something for your when you get old. I know you have enough money. Right now, and I know you're rich man. That's all right. Keep that way, man. Keep your saving. Get a good retirement. You see, the only bad thing I didn't get is a good retirement because I didn't plan for that. But it's all right.
Well, you're not doing so bad.
Huh?
You're not doing bad at all.
Not bad, man. I'm happy. I'm a happy man. Thanks God. I believe in God. I believe in God.
Let me ask.
No question. That's it.
No.
Question.
Tell me about your family in Ecuador. Like, tell me about your parents. How many brothers and sisters you had?
Next question. I gives you $10 a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Tell me about your parents. Tell me about your childhood.
What do you mean? What do you want to know my life? I'm not today. I'm tired.
Oh.
I'm talking.
All right. Just a couple more minutes.
No, that's it. I see you tomorrow.
All right. All right. We'll talk tomorrow then.
No more agua. Finish. No more water. You see, that's the problem here. El problema. Se me olvidó comprar agua. You cannot drink from con la llave.
Right.
Te da diarrea, vas al hospital.
Yuck.
No, everything is fine. Thank you, God.
All right. So let's talk tomorrow over the weekend, all right?
All right. Yeah, man, it looks like a weekend, man. Aquí no hay nadie, man. Everybody's out of the country, enjoying the playa. Do you know that's a holiday here?
No, what holiday is it?
El Día de los Muertos.
Really? Oh, yeah, for Halloween.
Not Halloween. I mean, over there is Halloween. Over here is the...
All Souls Day.
Algo así que de los muertos, que se come la comida morada y el pan de,
Uh-huh.
las guaguitas de pan.
Uh-huh.
Y todo el mundo se va a la playa. Like 800 people on the beach right now. Pero como yo recién me fui a la playa, I don't want to go.
Right.
Uh-huh.
All right, Pops.
And
Go ahead.
the use of the apartment is brand new paint.
Yeah?
You see it?
Mm-hmm.
It's paint the apartment. Clean it. It's nice right now. Livable conditions. If you have $60,000, man, I can let you buy a beautiful house on the coast. Te voy a mandar la foto. I wish I had the money, man. But I can get it. I'm going to win the lottery tonight.
Let me know if you do. I'll help you invest it.
What?
Let me know if you win. I'll help you invest the money.
I don't need no help.
I'm just saying. I'm a financial advisor.
I know you do.
All right, so let's talk over the weekend, all right? This is good.
Yeah, you call me or I call you. Don't call me, I call you.
Okay. All right, Pops. Take care.
Take care. Okay,
All right,
bye.
bye-bye. Oh, that was interesting. My father's in Ecuador right now, and we had a. I met my father when I was 24, I think it was. I had met him a couple of times before that. The story that I usually tell people is, when I was born, my father wasn't a part of my life pretty quickly. I used to tell people a story that it used to be that I would see him once a week, to once a month, to once every 6 months, to once a year, to me running into him in an airplane with another son 5 years, 10 years, 15 years later. And it was, he wasn't a part of my life, and that really impacted me. He wasn't a part of my life because multiple reasons. What I believe is the case is that my mother made it difficult for him to want to be around me, because she, I guess she was very angry with him at the fact that he didn't love her, and I think he cheated on her, and sought a divorce, according to what my mother says. And I kind of think that her payback or punishment was taking me out of his life. And I say that because I used to ask myself when I was younger, why is it that my father doesn't look for me, But then as I got older, I started realizing that in reality he did. And I said that because, or I say that because, there were times when I would go to Ecuador, and I would used to go to Ecuador every summer when I was young, and there were plenty of times while I was in Ecuador when my mother wasn't around that my father would find out somehow, and he would come and look for me. And at that time I was so, I guess, angry with him, maybe brainwashed into thinking that he was this bad guy, that I would stay away from him because I was angry. I was angry that he wasn't a part of my life. I didn't realize until maybe 2-3 years ago that in reality he did look for me. The other thing that I kind of realized too is, after I got to know him, he was very close with his second son, a guy by the name of Danny. He's 25 probably now. He was very close to him. He was a part of his life, lived with him, looked for him, continues to look for him. And he was even close with his daughter, Jackie, who's the eldest. She's older than me by a year or two. He would look for her. So it dawned on me one day. I was like, why is it that he looks for them, but he doesn't look for me? And that's when I realized he did look for me. But I rejected him because I was, at the time, angry that he wasn't in my life. He only looked for me like, a total of maybe 4 or 5 times. And yeah, hey, that is, a good amount, right? I do have memories of him coming to me when I was in elementary school and him picking me up. I remember this one time we were in this Corvette that he was selling, and we were somewhere in New York City, and we pull over on the sidewalk, and I remember we're listening to Milli Vanilli, a tape that he bought for me, or a record, or who knows what. And we pull over on the side of the road, and we're taking a piss on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden these 2 ghetto guys start running towards us for some reason. I don't know why. And we jump into the car and we drive away. No idea why these people were chasing us, but they were. And the point is, he was clearly a part of my life in some capacity. So I can't say that he didn't look for me. He did. I really do believe that my mother drove him away. But still, I don't find that forgivable because, I think about you guys, my kids. Your mother and I, God forbid something happened where we broke up. She could make my life impossible. There's nothing that could separate me from you guys. And not that your mother would, because she's a great, great, great woman. She would never do anything like that. But if she ever did, I never want you guys to know what it is to feel to have a father who's alive, who's not there for you. It's one of the hardest things to feel. know, and to this day, it makes me sad, fucks with me a little bit, but it is what it is, you know. I'd like to say that it made me a better father, because it made me love you guys deeply, you know, and I still think I'm a shitty father, but I know that I tried to be a good father, because I don't want you guys to ever feel what I felt. And in conclusion on this topic, when I met my father again, or found him when I was 24, I think it was, you know, for the first 10 years, I think, we were super close. He was my best friend. I spent so much time with him, and I'm thankful for that time. But then things started to change. He met this girl called Claudia, who was my age, who took advantage of him, took him for all his money. He's now retired, not by choice, but because he had to sell his business at a loss. Because this girl pretty much financially abused him, emotionally abused him, and now he's broke. But the point being that when this girl became a part of his life, you know, I started seeing the weaker side of him. He went from being a good businessman to being a horrible businessman, where he would make these horrible business and financial decisions. And, you know, one of the things that would bother me was that he would come to me looking for advice. I'm your son. Like, I should be going to you looking for advice. You're my father. It's not the other way around. And the fact that I didn't have a father that I could look up to and be like, wow, I want to be like him, or let me go to him so he can give me advice. You know, it was a little bit heartbreaking. And there were other things too. You know, he would kind of take advantage of me a little bit financially because I was doing well in life. At one point in time, I wanted to take over his car dealership. I wanted to go in business with him. Before I became a broker on Wall Street, I thought about, you know, owning a car dealership, you know, father and son kind of business. He wanted to charge me hundreds of dollars, money that he didn't charge a random guy on the street, but he wanted to charge me that money because I made the money. Give me a fucking son. You know, it bothered me that he wanted to charge me money that he wouldn't charge anyone else. And the final straw that broke the camel's back was I was supposed to move into an apartment that he has with your mom, with Isabella, and your mom was pregnant with Michael at the time. And I remember we pulled up in a truck filled with all of our shit in the back of this truck, and the apartment wasn't ready. There was construction things all over the place. It smelled like paint. It wasn't in move-in conditions. And I called him and I was like, dude, like, we need a place to stay. You know, I'm with my kids, I'm with babies in the car, in the truck, filled with our shit. He pretty much said, that's your problem, man. Find a place to stay. And he wouldn't answer my phone call because he was too busy chasing after this woman, Claudia. You know? And that's when I was like, wow, he left me out in the street with my kids. You don't fuck with my kids. You know? We stayed in a hotel that night. And that was when everything changed. That was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And ever since then, I've kind of kept my distance from him. You know, and things got worse. You know, like, every time he would call me, it would always be because he needed something. He needed advice. You know, I would have to hear his stories of how he was feeling at life. And it bothered me. You know, I wasn't embarrassed by him, but it just bothered me that I didn't have any male role model to look up to and say, what would you do, Dad? Because he wasn't wise enough to do that for me. And the other thing that bothered me too was, you know, I felt like there were times in which I needed to go to someone and I would go to him, and, you know, he would always pick women over me. And I remember this other time I needed his advice and I went to a bar to go look for him because I needed to talk to him. And getting him to talk to me and to take time away from this fucking girl was like pulling teeth. And I told him, I was like, dude, I need to talk to you. You know? So it's just shit like that I was like, you know what, man? fucked up. And that's why I distanced myself. You know? Anyway, I'm really, really, really glad though that I did meet him and found him and spent the time that I did with him, because I learned a lot about myself. And I can at least say that I spent probably 15 years of my life with this man. And now he's in Ecuador, you know? And I miss him sometimes, but it is what it is. But this is why, guys, this is why, you know, I don't want you guys to ever know what it is to not have a father, at least while I'm alive. And listen, if I die someday, because I will, I might even die young. That's why I record these videos, because I want to leave you with something to watch, something to look at, so that I can leave tidbits of advice, things that I've learned in life in these videos, so that way if I do die young, you'll have some way of hearing from me. That's because I love you guys. And I think you know that. Alright, it's late. I'm gonna go to sleep.